Have you ever been dead asleep right in the middle of a terrifying nightmare, running for your life from your boss, a looming creditor, or maybe some unnameable, slimy tentacle monster? You grit your teeth, you're literally panicking, trying to sprint away with everything you have, but there's a massive problem. Your legs feel like they're encased in 200 tons of solid cement. You are just glued to the spot, completely paralyzed, forced to watch the danger close in. Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're conducting a deep, cross-disciplinary mind-body autopsy into that exact terrifying sensation.
Okay, let's dive into this. Because, when most of us wake up in a cold sweat from this experience, we kind of just rub our sore necks and brush it off, right? We blame a soft mattress or a heavy blanket, or we just casually slap the label sleep paralysis on it and move on with our day. But listen, it is so much more than just about mattress. If we actually break down both Eastern and Western wisdom, digging into ancient medical texts and the clinical codes of psychology giants, we discover something astonishing. Those immovable legs are not just a random glitch in your brain. They're a profound, coordinated red alert coming from your absolute deepest physical and psychological foundations.
What makes this specific dream so uniquely horrifying is this suffocating, sensory sting of it all. Your brain is frantically screaming, "Run, faster," but below your waist, absolute radio silence. You're forced to struggle in this agonizing slow motion. It represents a total loss of bodily sovereignty. Think about it. During the day, we navigate the concrete jungle, grabbing our cold takeout, paying bills, maintaining this grand illusion that we are in absolute control of our lives. But at night, when the armor comes off, our subconscious exposes our extreme vulnerability, revealing that our core sense of security might actually be collapsing.
So, let's look at the first piece of this puzzle. Section 1, the physical warning, or what the ancients called the guest in the shins.
To really understand this physical warning, let's play forensic pathologist for a second and do some textual archaeology. If we look at the ancient Eastern dream book and the foundational medical text, the Ling Shu Jing, we find a fascinating phrase, evil qi residing in the shins. Now, in this context, a guest refers to an uninvited invader, like external coldness or dampness. And the shins, well, your lower legs are crucial hubs for your body's energy meridians. When we go to sleep, our body's defensive energy retreats inward to protect our vital organs, which leaves our exterior incredibly vulnerable to these guests.
The quote actually says, "Evil qi residing in the shins makes one dream of walking but unable to move forward, or being trapped in deep mud and weeds." And what's absolutely brilliant about this is how perfectly it captures the pathology. Say your bedroom is freezing, or your circulation is just poor. That cold guest sneaks right into your vulnerable lower legs. In the dead of night, your brain gets this physical feedback. The nerve signals are lagging, muscle temperature drops. And how does your subconscious translate that physical roadblock? Boom! It instantly generates a nightmare where you are stuck in a swamp or deep mud, unable to move forward.
The classic text, the Huangdi Neijing, delivers a really cold physiological verdict on this whole process. It points out that sitting at a desk literally all day and chugging cold drinks at night severely depletes your lower body's natural warmth. Because of that, when you finally lie down to sleep, your blood flow slows down even further. It coagulates and fails to return smoothly through the vessels. This creates a localized lack of blood and oxygen in your legs, a condition the ancients called jiu or paralysis.
So the crucial point is this concept of rong and wei depletion. Rong refers to your nourishing blood, and wei is your defensive motor energy. When both of these are depleted, the ancient text warned that your flesh and your willpower actually become entirely severed from one another. Your mind is screaming to move, but your drained physical body simply cannot respond. It's a literal heavy leg paralysis happening in real time while you sleep, basically a desperate SOS from an exhausted body.
Now, let's shift gears to Section 2, the soul's alibi, and see how Adler and Freud tackle this.
You see, the physical, dried-up body is only half the story. We also have to dig into our deep psychological defenses. Let's look at the sharp, almost cruel insights of Western psychoanalysis, starting with Alfred Adler. Adler didn't think dreams were just random garbage. He saw them as a bridge connecting your reality to your future goals. When you're facing a massive real-life challenge, maybe a career bottleneck or a failing relationship, Adler views this dream of being hampered as a subconscious strategy of standing still. It's actually a neurotic, safeguarding behavior meant to protect your fragile self-esteem from reality.
It's incredible when you think about it. We are all terrified of failure. So your mind actively crafts this horrifying scenario where your legs are glued to the floor. Why? Because it provides the perfect alibi. You wake up thinking, hey, it's not that I'm cowardly, I wanted to run, I wanted to face the challenge, but fate literally sealed my legs. This dream gives the dreamer a safe harbor of retreat. It's a built-in excuse to avoid taking responsibility for potential failure in your waking life.
And this sets up a really fascinating clash of theories. Because while Adler sees this paralyzed dream as a clever excuse to stop and avoid reality, Sigmund Freud interprets it in a completely different way. For Freud, it isn't a retreat at all. It's a violent, head-on collision happening right on your motor pathways. Freud elaborates on this in the interpretation of dreams. He argues that this sensation of inhibited movement is a massive conflict of will. Picture this: your raw, unconscious desire, your volition, is screaming at you to run, or maybe even to attack. But at the exact same split second, your moral censorship, your counter-volition, violently steps in and says, absolutely not. These two massive forces smash into each other, and the result? Your motor nerves are essentially shut off, gluing you to the spot. You're watching your inner desires and your moral compass tear each other apart.
Which brings us to Section 3, the Zen prescription, and how we actually regain our center.
Okay, so we have a depleted physical body and a deeply conflicted psychological state. It sounds pretty grim, right? But we really don't need to panic. And this brilliantly illustrates the ancient Eastern solutions for settling the spirit. The philosopher Laozi noted that our daily energy is constantly scattered, chasing worldly things and stressing over modern life. He wrote, "When the spirit is concentrated, thoughts and dreams naturally vanish." This means the ultimate cure to the cement-like nightmare isn't fighting harder in the dream, but gathering your scattered daytime energy to break the nightmare's chain before you even fall asleep.
We can actually look at some secret Taoist alchemy from the Taiyi Jinhua Zongji for the practical steps. When you get into bed, don't just crash. Close your eyes and purposefully slow your breath. The text teaches that the mind and breath rely on each other. You don't try to force your mind to be quiet, that never works. Instead, just let your mind ride the gentle rhythm of your breath until all those chaotic, conflicting thoughts from the day naturally settle down, allowing your spirit to enter the center.
And as your spirit gathers and centers, something incredible happens to your physical body. That chaotic internal fire calms right down. Your energy naturally sinks, warming your lower body and replenishing that depleted wrong way energy we talked about earlier. By simply breathing and letting go of the day's baggage, you are quite literally melting the cement around your legs before you even enter the dream state.
But hey, if you do still find yourself slipping into that terrifying dream, we can borrow some serious wisdom from the Tai Tai Shao Zhiguan. When the sleep demons show up and your legs freeze, try to practice detached observation. Recognize the illusion as false. Do not worry, do not fear, and most importantly, do not grasp at the frantic desire to run, but also don't reject the feeling of being stuck. When you just observe and stop fighting that internal conflict, you completely strip the nightmare of its power.
We've covered a lot of ground in this explainer today, haven't we? From ancient meridian blockages to Adler's subconscious alibis and Freud's violent internal clashes. Your body and mind are working incredibly hard to send you a message through these intense dreams. So I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. Tonight, when you close your eyes again, will you exhaust yourself trying to run from the shadows, or will you stop, take a breath, and finally make peace with your own soul?